lobster who doesn't realize it's being cooked. This is my last message for you ladies, so you better listen up. Did you see Rachel speak at the DNC? Me too. Her son Hirsch was kidnapped over 320 days ago by a U.S. designated terrorist organization called Hamas.
A terrorist organization called Hamas.
I know this because I interviewed Rachel 250 days ago on December 20th to try to spread awareness about the hostages because I couldn't believe that Hollywood celebrities with all your power and all your money wouldn't help the hostage families, because there were all these people calling the war a genocide. And if they simply knew that there were hostages and that Hamas, the U.S. designated terrorist organization, just had to surrender the hostages and surrender to Israel, the war would be over. And that's how you could easily prove it's not a genocide. But you're not Jewish. Why do you care? I just felt bad for her and wanted to help her. Your actions make you a good person, not your identity. I had never lived in the United States before, and I didn't know everyone was psycho and stupid and crazy and had no morals. That's the real problem. It's not anti-Semitism. You see, anti-Semitism is a symptom of a greater problem, the demoralization of the West. World War III is a war of the minds. It's a war of extremism and information. People have slipped into echo chambers because of social media. You're in an echo chamber where you believe Qatari news agencies like Al Jazeera and Eye on the Middle East. These news agencies are shaping your perception with a bias against Israel because Islamists target the left. That's what I picked up on when I did my first video on October 11th. I saw a bunch of lesbians I knew in Brooklyn defending Hamas, and I freaked out and did a video. I thought it was so ridiculous. Remember, I was living in Europe and I hadn't moved to the United States yet. I didn't know everyone was fucking crazy. In life, there is cause and there is effect. If there was no terrorism, there would be no war. What the global terrorist regimes have done is distort the cause and effect. We live in Western civilization based on Judeo-Christian values and democracy. That includes the USA, Canada, most of the Americas, Europe, Australia, and Israel. There are 3 different global superpowers who are trying to destroy Western civilization: Russia, China, and the Islamic Republic of Iran. Iran is controlled by a U.S. designated terrorist organization called the IRGC.
I will always ensure that Israel is able to defend itself, including from Iran and Iran-backed militias such as Hamas and Hezbollah.
We should be fighting for a free, democratic Iran. There's a movement called Women, Life, Freedom. Maybe you could join that, Cynthia. The IRGC has set up different proxy regimes throughout the Middle East because they want to destroy Israel, as well as the Muslim Brotherhood. The Muslim Brotherhood is a network of jihadists who have infiltrated media, journalism, and culture, including Jewish Voices for Peace, that student group that your son joined. They platform Palestinian terrorists so that when October 7th happened, instead of a normal person being like, whoa, look at all this horrible Islamic terrorism and jihad and people chanting Allahu Akbar and chopping off people's heads, you had Judith Butler going, it was resistance against the Zionist imperialist entity. That's what these jihadist terrorist organizations want. They want us to be desensitized to terrorism so that when terrorism starts happening in the West, it's like we don't even see it happening. And besides, it's just a synagogue being burned down. They're really upset about Palestine. What's happening right now at these encampments, Cynthia, that you just defend and love so much all spring, is that these Islamic propagandists, They're trying to get an entire generation of young people on the left to hate Jews and hate Israel so much that, first of all the Jews in the West end up just leaving and coming to Israel because life will be so unbearable for them. And then eventually in 10 years or 20 years or 30 years or 50 years, the Democratic Party will become so anti-Semitic and so anti-Israel that America will eventually halt weapons sales to Israel so that Israel can't defend itself from the IRGC and all these jihadist terrorist groups wanting to blow it up. That's the plan. It's a plan to destroy Western civilization. Anyone with a brain knows this. At some point, Cynthia, this is all going to catch up with you. The holy Jewish nation will not be destroyed because of you. Because you're a mother of 2 Jewish children and you want to cosplay being the governor of New York giving speeches. The 10 million people who live in Israel are not going to live under Sharia law for your ego, Cynthia. This fucking jihad network wants to kill all my hot gay guy friends in Tel Aviv. And I love them. They're getting married and they're having babies and they're having sexy pool parties. And the 2 billion Christians on the planet do not want all their holy sites and temples desecrated by Islamists because of you, Cynthia Nixon. You and your lobster and your stupid fluffy cat. Post as much Al Jazeera propaganda as you want. Eventually, the truth of this is going to come out. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my life being a sexy, thin power gay in New York City, doing stand-up comedy. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to tour the country. I'm going to enjoy my life with my hot gay guy friends in Tel Aviv. And you are not going to destroy the holy Jewish nation. God, you're unbearable.